عبد الحكيم الواعر مساعد المدير العام والممثل الإقليمي لمنظمة الأغذية والزراعة في منطقة الشرق الأدنى وشمالي أفريقيا.
Shukran. Good afternoon, everyone. Excellency Minister Mr.Abdulhakim, Minister of Water Resources and Irrigation of Egypt. We have listened very carefully for the previous speakers, and I think looking at the facts stated, and Princess Sumaya just highlighted the linkage of the SDGs as we address in this high-level segment, the connection between water scarcity and achieving SDGs. I've mentioned in my earlier opening statement the importance of the connection between SDG 6 on water and sanitation and the connection to the challenge in achieving SDG 1 on poverty alleviation and SDG 2 on zero hunger. And there's more and more connection on water and energy, on industrialization, urbanization, and all other aspects. So with water scarcity and the challenges facing water resource use, we expect more challenges on achieving SDGs towards 2030. I'd like to focus on some clear messages that are coming from the Food and Agriculture Organization, and especially, Mr. Minister, ladies and gentlemen, in the intersectorial dialogues. Today, we cannot establish water policies and measurements without establishing some dialogues among the sectors, even within country. We know that agriculture sector is the major use of water resources, and the dialogue between the sectors of agriculture and those who manage the water resources is very essential in order to come up with effective policies for managing water resources. No natural resource is more precious, more scarce, and more important than water. We hear about rockets going to Mars. They're only looking for water. Is there water there? Air, maybe. Those are the two essential things that to secure that there will be life that can be sustained somewhere else. How water is managed, used, and conserved will be decisive in shaping the future of the region. And here we talk about a region that is mostly affected by water scarcity in the whole world. The Cairo Water Week plays an important role in building the multi-sector and multi-agency partnerships that are needed to ensure effective policy frameworks, public and private sector investments, and water use changes that will help manage this critical resource in a sustainable way for the benefit of today's and tomorrow's populations. For a long time, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, has focused its attention on water management. As the United Nations specialized agency in charge of food and agriculture, we see water as a central element in our efforts towards food security, sustainable agriculture, and rural development. Earlier this year, the FAO adopted a new strategic framework that seeks to support the 2030 agenda through the transformation to more efficient, inclusive, resilient, and sustainable agri-food systems for better production, better nutrition, a better environment, and a better life, aiming at leaving no one behind. Working together to ensure that water is used effectively and efficiently and sustainably is one of this region's greatest challenges. and agriculture as a major role to play in addressing this challenge. On average, agriculture in the region consumes nearly 6 times more water than all other sectors combined together. 80% of all water withdrawals in Egypt goes to agriculture. In other countries in the region, in the Arab region, this can be more than 90%. This is why in this region, future water security will largely depend on agriculture-based solutions. That's where we will make the savings. This will require continuous innovation, enabling policies, commitment, investment, and deep-rooted changes in the coming years. Governments will need to play a key role ensuring cross-sector coordination and policy coherence. As I mentioned earlier, the intersectoral dialogue has to be deepened more and more so that we understand how water is used by the different sectors. And the governments need to create the incentives for efficient water use, encouraging the public and private sector investments needed, and discouraging inefficient water use. The role of the governments in this coherence is essential. Growing water scarcity in the region is an enormous challenge, and governments across the region must confront it both individually and collectively. So, as Luis and earlier Oliver stated, that it's not possible for one country to find solutions by itself today. So there is need for collective as well as individual within country level work. Countries of the region are increasingly facing water stress levels compared with the global average of 18%. 13 Arab countries, including Egypt, have stress levels exceeding 100%. And with the exception of the Comoros, Djibouti, and Mauritania, all Arab countries have water stress levels that exceed the global average. Stress levels beyond 100% is quite alarming, as it is an indicator of increasing reliance on non-renewable water resources, like fossil groundwater and unsustainable water use. If we focus on food security, which is our essential for life, for instance, we need to produce more food with less water. But we also need to look for solutions beyond the water domain. Incorporating virtual water trade within food security policies can go a long way in alleviating pressure on scarce water resources, and at the same time offers opportunities for poor farmers to focus on higher value, higher quality, and more economically rewarding production. And that regional trade can only be established by more regional cooperation and more regional partnership in order to address the virtual water aspect. We all are aware of the difficult tasks put on the shoulders of water authorities and of the whole society to align water management with efficiency, productivity, and sustainability. Along the road, policymakers will need to take hard decisions on water consumption, water rights, and reallocation. Our countries in the region need to learn more from the experience of other countries that have gone through similar paths. So the exchange of experience is essential, and earlier Luis has mentioned some of the examples. 2 years ago, during the Land and Water Days conference organized by the FAO here in this hotel, the experience of Australia was presented, where the main message for transforming water management into sustainability was capping water consumption to sustainable limits. We see progress in our region, like the decision of Jordan to allocate treated wastewater to agricultural use, but much more is needed to face the realities and implications of unsustainable water. We also highlight the examples in the GCC areas led by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia on the efficient water desalination modalities. Let me just go towards concluding. On the 2019 estimates show that before COVID-19 pandemic, 51.4 million people were hungry in the region, representing 12.2% of the population of the Arab region, an increase of 1.1 million people from the previous period. If recent trends continue, the number of people affected by hunger will surpass 75 million by 2030, and the region is unlikely to reach the SDG target of zero hunger. The impact of COVID-19 will further exacerbate the stress on the use of water as well as the economic situation. On conclusion, let me reaffirm the Food and Agriculture Organization's fullest commitment to support the efforts of countries and partners in transforming agriculture to achieve both food security and water security. Through the Water Scarcity Initiative, led by FAO, we will continue to support better coordination amongst key players. The Water Scarcity Collaborative Platform will facilitate information exchange and exchange of experience and create synergies and joint activities and hopefully future joint planning. I thank you.